Hello, I'm Father Louis Skirty with Friends of the Word, and the weekday edition. Today, my attorney and my friend and my guest is Bob Shanahan. Welcome, Bob.
No problem.
Thank you for coming back again.
No problem.
Bob is the attorney, actually, that takes care of all our problems or our development of the Friends of the Word organization. He saw it from the beginning to the end and the present, helps us with our meetings and gives us guidelines.
Sure.
And we're still fundraising, by the way, so go to PayPal on our site.
And I'm working for free, so don't worry.
Yeah, he's working absolutely for free. All the holy cause he can carry. But and we appreciate that. How did you get involved with that? I know we know each other from William Patterson many years ago. How did you get involved?
No, you asked me. When I first
got
why?
Why did you say yes?
Because you asked me.
Wow.
Here's where it goes. It goes way back, Lou, okay? When I first got out of law school, you were going to help build the chapel at William Patterson College Campus Ministry. You called me up and said, Bob, I need a lawyer to help me with some land use issues. I said, Father, I don't do land use. He says, you will.
I didn't really care about that.
Did.
Yeah, you did, right? Good experience.
So I've learned not to say no because it's just bad karma.
That's true. And then we built the chapel, the center, the television center, and all that.
I mean, really. It was great to see it grow. It was great to be part of it from the very beginning, and the things have been done over the decades have been amazing. I want to be part of that.
That's great. And you were part of the advisory committee when the chapel finally got up and going, which is really great. Okay, so today I'm going to focus on Bob's profession as a lawyer, as an attorney. What do you prefer?
That doesn't matter to me.
Okay, good. And what I thought I would do is refer to the moral law using the Catechism of the Catholic Church. As you know, we've resourced that before. And Article 1, under the whole topic of God's salvation involving law and grace, there are a few reflections. I'm going to just take some phrases out of context, and maybe Bob and I can talk about how the moral law, first of all, relates to us as Christians, and then how do you incorporate it into your practice or not. The moral law, this is in the moral law chapter, Article 1. The moral law is the work of divine wisdom. Its biblical meaning can be defined as fatherly instruction, God's pedagogy. It prescribes for, it says man, but I'm going to say the human being. It prescribes for the human being the ways, the rules that conduct and lead to a promised beatitude. It prescribes the ways of evil, which turns him away from God and his love. It is at once firm in its precepts and in its promises, worthy of love. The little phrase, law is the rule of conduct enacted by competent authority for the sake of the common good. We could develop that, but
Yeah.
wow, that's a chunk.
It is. There's a lot in there.
And this is the moral law. So where does this come into your practice? Not necessarily now, in your application to practice now, you do mostly elder law, but it might. Maybe in your studies, maybe in your classrooms. Did this get discussed?
Not really. I went to a university, Temple University in Philadelphia, great law school, but it wasn't a religious education.
No,
right?
No.
One time I remember wondering, where is this all going? You go to, again, I'm a very cerebral person. I'm always wondering why, what's going on, why are things happening. And in the first year of law school, you do a lot of talking to yourself. And I was doing that, and I noticed that one afternoon they were having a man come in who wasn't a minister. I forget, he represented one of the local churches, Christian churches, and he came in to talk. And he was a lawyer. I thought, boy, I got to listen to this guy. I got to see what he has to say. And I sat at lunchtime, and I listened to him talk, and I was very impressed. How he incorporates this, and he keeps Jesus in his mind, and the scriptures and everything. And this was just one man giving testimony. I thought it was really good.
Was he an attorney as well as being a minister?
Yes.
That's good. So he brought both. I was at Temple University, as a matter of fact. I took some graduate courses there while I was living in South Jersey when I first graduated college. And, of course, I took a course from Bernard Herring, the great theologian. I saw his name. I said, I got to sign up. And it was worth the trip. And it was wonderful. It was a great, his mind is vast. It was vast, and it was a great opportunity
Yeah.
regarding Temple. How does the moral law come across to you in daily dealings with the public as the rule of law and conduct enacted by competent authority for the sake of the common good, especially?
You begin, if you're a lawyer, you get people with problems coming to you constantly.
Yeah.
Okay? Doesn't matter what field of law you're in, they all, there's one common denominator, they all have problems. It's your opportunity to help them. They come to you for guidance. They come to you to get them out of a tough spot. There used to be a difference between lawyers who went to court and lawyers who counsel. That's where the word counselor comes from. But we've combined both of them. But, in different fields, you do more counseling than others. I do a lot of counseling.
Yes,
okay?
that's your personality. Yeah.
So it's an opportunity. The moral law is what's supposedly based the civil law. All right. Without the moral law, the Ten Commandments, or that's basically what our beginning common law was back in merry old England. Any laws that pass are supposed to have a moral basis. What's good for the common good? What's to right some wrongs and things of that nature. But human beings being human beings, laws beget more laws, and it begins to tie down your moral freedom. And it makes things more frustrating for the general public, and they come into you for what is happening, why is all this going on? So, and it gets very upsetting to someone who loves the law like I do, because you see things being misconstrued, misused, not enforced. You look to the courts, and sometimes the judges don't get it either. It's easier to get something off the desk than really follow through with what the issue is. Or something doesn't go well for your client. That happens. You don't win all the time, or circumstances prevent them from getting what they really need. They get upset, or people come to you when they are upset. A parent died, a spouse died. They don't know what to do. You have an opportunity not just to say, okay, here's the law. This is what you have to go to the surrogate's office with a death certificate and become the administrator of the estate. You say, come on, sit down. Here, have a glass of water. Yeah. Let's talk about this. Again, open up a little bit.
And that touches the common good. Right. The law serving the common good, which is people.
Right. The law is not sterile. It's not something tacked in a book. It's about people and the way people are. And you have to realize that when you're practicing law, and in any profession, you have to realize that you're dealing with people. And the law is there for guidance, sometimes to end a dispute when people can't resolve it themselves. But you, as a minister of the law, have an opportunity and an obligation to make sure that everything's okay as best as you can before you leave it. You don't want it to cause more problems. I gave a talk this morning on a thing called collaborative law, where it's generally speaking, it's a bunch of mediators who get together with lawyers who promise not to go to court. And they do that in divorce actions. So instead of going to a divorce action, you do collaborative. Everybody talks and works it out as opposed to going to litigation, because we know litigation and family matters, by the time you get done with litigation, no one's talking to each other and they're angry.
And everybody's poor.
Everybody.
Except the attorneys.
Yes, I know, except the attorneys. But I'm trying to use this in elder law, and I gave a talk about it to a group of lawyers, and it was very well received today. And I said to them, you have a responsibility not just to the justice system and the rule of law, but to our country as well, to make sure that you take the route that doesn't cause more problems for our society. You don't want them fighting. You want families together. Get them to talk first.
That's great. And that certainly focuses in on the phrase common good, because it's a phrase, but we realize the common good is for the good of people. And that's important, that law serves people. And the way the moral law is diagnosed is basically, as we're serving people, we're serving God, because we're doing what is good and right and just and reflecting God. Now, it doesn't necessarily come out in the secular courts, but it's certainly what we believe.
Yeah, I think we all have a duty, no matter what we do, to follow this path. There's in the 1800s, a minister came out and said, "In hell, there's nothing but law." and your right of due process will be strictly observed. Okay, we don't want that to happen.
No.
And we have to be real about this.
There's a phrase I want to quote. It has to do with natural and divine law. The divine and natural law shows man the way to follow so as to practice the good and attain his end. The natural law states the first and essential precepts which govern the moral life, and it hinges upon the desire for God and submission to him, who is the source and judge of all that is good, as well as upon the sense that the other is one's equal. So, again, Jesus, treat one another as you want them to treat you. Love your brother. I mean, be good to each other, respect each other. And of course, my friend Pope Francis, I love Pope Francis. Everything he says reflects his thrust and education for the common good.
That's right.
And the individual. Right. This has been Father Louis Scurti with Bob Shanahan, attorney, and we thank you for joining us on the Weekday Word. Tune in again. God bless you.